Now I'm going to get into the customer. I'm going to start fixing the camera. I'm going to show you how things it needs to be done. In this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit of theory first, so that way you can understand, and also you can learn all the mistakes that the other technicians have done in this shop. So I'm going to teach you how to troubleshoot the CCTV system, so that way you can understand how everything works. So in this case, I'm going to tell you a little bit. This is kind of a diagram, so that way you understand how everything is located in the video. So here we have the main entrance of live storage. Here we have the manager's office. We have another storage unit, another one, and this is the main one where they have the problem. So in this case, they had 4 cameras that weren't working. So here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have the red line that you see here. This is the power. We have the green one that is the data. And then here we have the street. So basically the problem that they had, because everything was exposed, the weather will damage any cable, any connection, and everything. So also the chunk box that they had, I mean, they made a hole on the side. Things were not sealed properly. It was a kind of a disaster. So also you're going to learn from the mistakes of other technicians. So in this case, I had to fix that. We have to put a conduit on everything, so that way everything will be protected. At least my job. They had another problems in another places that were not sealed or properly either. They didn't have the cable inside of a conduit, so everything was exposed. But at least my job, I did it properly. So it took 2 days. Maybe it could be 3 days, but I've been working with the helper like 12 hours every day, so we try to finish as fast as possible. So the first thing that I did, in order to check the cameras, I took my monitor. There is kind of monitor kind of computer, because you can use it for analog cameras, also you can use it for digital cameras. And I unplugged one of the signal, and then the BNC, and then I plug it in, and I saw, okay, the image is good. So I did the same thing with the other one, and the other one, and the other one. It seemed like everything was kind of working, but when you start putting everything here, I didn't have any signal. So the cable was all rusted inside, so I had to cut it, re-terminate it again, and I went here. Here is the junction box. So here is where you have all the connections together in one place. So I went here, I tested, things were not working or were kind of intermittent. So what I did is I re-terminate those connectors as well, and then things start working. But I saw also that the power, you're going to see, the cable was all cracked, and also the cable, it was kind of white and it was red in the beginning. So all because the sun, it will fade out all the colors and everything. So what I did here also, I checked the power box, because they have 12 and 24 volts. Usually most of the system they run on 24, but they have one camera running in 12, so whatever. I just let using the same power that they had, the same cables and everything. So I just replaced it with everything new. So I replaced this new, this here, I left it the way it was, and I put the conduit in everything. So basically that's what I did. I tested with the multimeter here if I had the right voltage, and everything was good. Here wasn't. Like I said, I re-terminate things. Later what I did is, because the cable, it was going to be messy, trying to fix all cables. I said, okay, I'll decide it. I replaced the whole thing with Ethernet cable, and I used the balloons, and that worked great. So I did that. And here they had another adapter that is from BNC to Ethernet, because they have a Ethernet cord all the way. It was like 1,000 feet, about 300 meters. So the other technicians say, well, we have to replace the whole thing because things are not working. And I said, no, you don't have to do all that. I mean, it's too much work. It can be fixed properly, because this is, I mean, we're not running, data. It's just BNC. It's analog cameras in very low resolution. They have like very low end DVR. Everything will work out just fine. I mean, I tried, and after everything I did, everything was working great. The customer was happy, so no problem at all. So I'm going to tell you that. So I fixed that, and then after everything here was working great, I tested one of the pairs. The orange pair wasn't working properly. The other 3 cameras were working fine, because you're using 1 pair for each camera, so a cable has 4 pairs. So one wasn't working, and I said, okay, I'm going to try. I'm going to see if there is any damage in any other place. And the cable from here, the junction box, went all the way to the asphalt under the road here, and then went back up to the building here. And then I saw that the cable was from here to the ground again, across the street, up again, and then it went here as well. But from here to here, you have like 200 meters or 600 feet easily, you will see. And here in the middle, it was damaged. The cable was damaged, and they grabbed the cable and they thought it. I mean, they put it on, or they pressed it with the metal, the sheet metal of the roof. It makes no sense, and they were damaging the cable, and one of the cables were very bad. So here I said, okay, I'm going to cut it. I'm going to put it together with there is one connector that is made by 3Ms, and it's very good. You do that. It has gel inside, so water will not get in. Also, I was using a self-fusion tape, and that will protect everything from moisture, rain, or anything like that. Everything will last for many years. So I recommend the customer to replace that, but they didn't want to do anything, so they told me only fix that. And here, whatever. Okay, I say, all right, you're the boss, you're paying here. So I did everything that they told me. So this is basically what you have to do if you have a problem like that. So always check first the first cameras here. If everything is working great, you move forward. Otherwise, if things are not working good, make sure you have enough power. If you have enough power, maybe the camera is bad. Sometimes happens, I go to customers, they have a camera, the camera is not working. Maybe you power cycle the camera and everything start working again, but maybe in an hour or 2 hours it fails again. Sometimes it's the camera, so you have to pay attention to that. And if everything is good, you keep working, and until you get to the DVR. And the DVR also, they have like bad connections. I had to terminate few connections, so they didn't use a proper VNC connector, so then you start having problems all over the place. I would recommend using IP cameras, but if you have a low budget, okay, they might be okay just to look around, but you cannot pretend to have too much detail. Recommend 4K cameras, they are great. So basically this is the thing. So I'm going to show you everything that I have done. If you have any question, please let me know, and let's keep working on this class, and I'll show you the practice. Now we are working here, and this is a big mistake, so I'll show you. They have this course all the way. I have to replace the whole thing, but it was kind of like that. As you can see, what they do is kind of gaps here, and you're going to get water inside. Instead of doing the hole here, putting everything here, putting this sealing gap, the filling gap, the filling foam here. When you do that, you don't do that, you get all water, connectors get damaged, everything get damaged, things stop working. So that is the main thing. Avoid doing that. What do you do if you are in the roof? For instance, I'm in a warehouse. is very big, and the DVR is very far away, so it's very far away. You're not, and if you want to test this camera that you have here, you're not going to walk or take your car, drive half a mile maybe, and then come back here to see that everything is working. So in this case, I'm going to present you this device. It's very good. So you just turn it on, and as you can see, it will boot up. It has a keyboard. Maybe I'll do a full review later, but if you want to check analog cameras, digital cameras and everything, here you have the internet port, and here we are. So here, as soon as you are in, you can connect it with the in and out, as you can see here, in and out if you want to generate a signal to test the DVR. But in this case, we are going to test the camera that we have here. So in this case, I have the cable. I just connect it here. The cable goes all the way here, and it goes where it says in. So now you go here, then you go where it says analog test, the button here, you click there, and then you wait until the camera starts working. So as you can see, it's working. So we have the cargo vent there, and that is the image, and that's it. So that is how you test the camera right away. Also, if you are not having any signal, maybe you can test if you have voltage here. In this case, this camera uses 12 volts. Some cameras, they use 24, and some cameras are analog. Cameras use AC, but in this case, they use DC 12 volts, and that is how you test it, and it's very quickly. If you have any question, leave it in the comments in the section below. See you next class. As you can see, we are going to remove this cable and everything, and we are going to replace it with those pipes that you see over there, so that way everything will be protected and the cables are not going to be exposed. When putting all the elbows, and the elbows is over there, of course, as you can see over there. But here we have the T, so we're running the cables inside of the T all the way for those conduits until the very end. So we're going to put a junction box in the end, so that way where we have the camera. So that is all we are doing right now. I'm putting the screw here. Here we have the junction box, and I'm going to add another piece of conduit to connect both, so that way we can run the cable inside. Of course, we are going to put a cap in this side, and we're going to put all those cables that we have here inside of this place with the seal and everything, so that way we will not have any water getting in. Alright, as you can see, we have this connector. So this is the connector that we are going to use here, because we're not using coax, we're using Ethernet. We are going to use these little screws, put each one of them. In this case, we are going to use the orange and the green one. So we're going to put this here, and then we're going to connect it to the other connector, and everything should be good. But that is how we are doing right now. Alright, as you can see, we put the cover up. There is one screw that is missing here, we have to put, but that is how it should be. And we're going to see the other side. We keep walking. We have the 4 screws here. We have this, we have to protect it later. And we have the cameras, and we have to make sure later that everything is good. We have to fix this cable, because this cable, it should not be like that. It's all loose, and if it is exposed, the customer will have some problem later. So we have to work on that later. Alright, as you can see, we have the conduit. Everything is connected to that T, as you can see over there, and then we connected to the elbow over there, and then we have everything straight to the other end. So we have zip ties over there with that little ear, so that we will keep it in place and no wind will fly it away. And the same thing over here, we have another one, and we have the box here, so everything is closed up. Now we have the screw, the 4 screws are there. We have to replace this electric cable because everything is exposed. We have to fill that up, otherwise water will get into the cameras. That should not be like that, right? As you can see, so here we have exposed cables. They were using just regular electric tape instead of having everything in the ductwork and in this conduct and the chunk box, so they didn't have any of that. And that is what happens. Things get unplugged, things get rusted, and things stop working. So that is why they have this cable, as you can see, you know, running all the way over there. So this cable is electric. They are not even using it, but they are using the 12 volt to power up the other camera and the other end, but everything is not good. So now the last week I was working here, we put this, but we didn't finish because we have to buy a conduit to put everything inside of the small pipe, the flexible pipe or something, so that way everything will be covered and protected by the weather. Otherwise the weather will destroy everything in contact. Let's see, I found the problem here. So the cable, the cover, the shield, as you can see, it was damaged, and I think maybe by the sharpness of this edge. And as you can see, the rest of the cables that you see here is everything for the video surveillance system, and it goes all the way to that end. On that end you have the manager's office, and that is why nothing is working, because some of the cables are very corroded here. So one guy told another technician, said, no, you have to replace the whole cable. And I said, it makes no sense. We can do another repair without replacing the whole thing. So I'm going to teach you in this case how to fix it without replacing the whole cable. If you want to replace the whole cable, you can, maybe if you're running data, but in this case it's an analog video surveillance, so it makes no sense. So we are going to cut the cable. As you can see, it's all damaged by the weather. And this one, I mean, you see, this is orange and it got all decolorated, as you can see, and all is bad. So I'm going to cut this and this here. I'm going to add this piece of cable. What we are going to use is these Scotch connectors, as you can see, and they're very good. You can buy the 3Ms, they're bigger, or the Chinese knockoff, and they work great anyway, and you can use those. So I'm going to put this in one end, the other in the other end, and that's it. If they had enough cable, maybe I could try to join it together without using this, but I'll see. They have enough cable, I think, in the other side, but I'll try to use this. I think that will be the easiest way. This is the other end of the warehouse, and the cable, the Ethernet cable, is going all the way inside. So, and you have this thing here. So you have water coming in here like nothing. There you have the junction box. So also inside of those boxes usually you have connectors, so having it like that makes no sense. Everything should be inside of a conduit, but we're going to do the patch that the customer want, the quick fix, and hopefully I told them that they're having this problem, so hopefully they will want to fix it properly, otherwise they're going to have problems all over again. All right, I was thinking in moving the cable out of this place, and I was pulling, I was thinking, what happened? I cannot pull anymore. So I realized that this cable was trapped here under this. So and I said, wow. And I just unscrewed this a little bit, and this was pinching this. I think it got damaged a little bit. So when you don't have things done properly, you have these type of problems. All right, I was pulling in another place. You can see it doesn't go anywhere. Now we have this cable loose here. I want to fix this. It's not feasible. It seems like this was made by the carpenter. I don't get it. Why are they doing this type of thing? So this is, I was unscrewing things. And there you go, it's going. I think a little bit more. This is not how things should be done. Right. There we go. Now it's loose again. So now we can try to put it together. Now we have more slack, so we should be good here. Alright, as you can see, I put this together with this. Same thing with this. This is the 3M, this is the knockoff, the Chinese, but I'm going to show you with both. So dark color with that dark color, so in this case green with green. You can see it here. Ahí está. Hopefully the camera can capture this, and you press, and that's it. So you can see, very good. So the other side, now you can pull both, and everything should be good. So now you do the same thing now with the Chinese knockoff. So that way you can see the Chinese is a little bit cheaper, and it works pretty well. So usually I have very good results with both. Just make sure that it's completely straight, otherwise you may have the risk that you will not go all the way to the very end. Okay, ahí está. All right, now we push again, as you can see, and it's very good. So now we're going to do the same thing with all of them, and in a little bit we should be done. So after this we're going to put like a special self tape, self fusion tape. It works like wonders. It will be protected with the weather, but like I said before, the customer doesn't want to pay that much to fix things, so he wants a patch. So this is a patch, otherwise I would put everything in a conduit. Now I'm going to show you what you have to do when you have this point. I mean, when you're at this stage, we are going to use this self fusion tape. Now we are going to cut like maybe 5 inches, something like that, because this is not like electric tape. This is it's stretched a little bit longer. So as you can see, we have the blue part that you see, we have to peel it off, so that way we can apply it. Otherwise, it will not make it like a one piece. Once it mix up with the oxygen in the air, it will fuse itself. So what you have to do is you push one of them, I mean 4 of them, like half on half to the forward, half to the other side, and then you put the tape, and then you start it just on the side, as you can see, and then you will start spinning. The idea is just to grab a few. We don't have to grab them all, just to start. Or otherwise, you can use duct tape. That would be another way to make it maybe easier. But otherwise, first step will be to try to grab few, and then go until the end. As you can see, there are a few that are left and they are not covered yet. So we are going to grab another 5 inches, and then we are going to cut it and make it work. Now we have to peel it off again. So we start in one end, and then we're going to cover the other part. And then once it mixes up with the oxygen on the air, it will solder by itself. It will fusion. That is why it's called self-fuse tape. Self-fuse tape. So that's it. So as you can see, we keep stretching it to cover everything else. Now we have the last part. We do exactly the same now. With the fusion tape, and that's it. So it's pretty simple, explanatory. I mean, you have to practice. If you don't practice, you're not going to be able to do it properly, maybe the first 3 times, but after a while, you will be okay. Now we grab, as you can see, the other part, and then we start applying it. Little by little, always stretch it a little bit when you start putting it on these connectors, and that's it. Once you see, I mean, if you let it dry for a few hours, it will be just one thing. As you can see, it has covered everything, and that's it. But later we are going to try to put it in a conduit, but this is the patch that the customer wanted to pay for. Cable is exposed, start cracking up like this, and start breaking the plastic. You can see everything has been with silicone, except a little bit over there, but at least it covers all the cables that were exposed here. Everything seems to be good. So we have a cable all the way. We may have to put some silicone here, but other than that, everything should be good. At least it's going to be protected by the sun, because the sun destroys everything. Oh, okay, now much light, so everything looks much better. As you can see, all over there, and then all over there, all good. So we're ready to go home now. Okay, as you can see, here we have all the rest because they left a big hole over there. We put some silicone, so in half an hour it will be dry and everything should be good. So we connected everything as before. They have one camera with 12 volts here, the 24 volts here, so that is why they have everything here. But other than that, we should close this, lock it with the screwdriver, and everything should be good. So that was the problem with this box. As you can see, you have to put these, I call them Omega, but these are kind of clamps or something like that. So every 5 foot, so that way if there is a tornado or something like that, this is not going to fly away. As you can see, everything is working. All these 4 cameras were not working, so now everything is good.
Hi, this is Teresa with Life Storage, 692, and I have my cameras all fixed. Yay!
There you go.
Gabriel's a good guy.
There you go. All right.
The good guy. Gabriel's a good guy. I got my stuff done. Cameras. Woo!